Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. So, first video of March. We're entering the third month of 2022. Still kind of chilly outside, but we'll see how things go as we try to get into spring. Now, speaking of spring, I kind of have to start here, even though the main crux of the video is not going to be related to this. The main crux of the video is going to be Beckett doing a thing, but we'll get that in a second. So obviously today, if any of you are of the baseball fan persuasion, you were kind of keeping an eye, at least a sideways eye, going on with what was going on with Major League Baseball and the Players Association. And obviously, this is a statement from the Players Association talking about it, kind of each pointing the finger at each other. I'll read a couple of excerpts of this, but I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Maybe in the live stream, we'll talk about it a little bit on Friday, so we'll see what happens with it. Anyway, Rob Manfred and the MLB owners have canceled the start of the season, so they've canceled about 6 games so far, the first 2 series of the season. Players and fans in the world who love baseball are discussing, but sadly not surprised. The latter portion of that I do agree with. If you kind of the inoculation to a lot of this stuff is if you have kind of seen the labor relations between Major League Baseball and the Players Association over the years, you knew that there was almost a 0% chance that they were not going to lose games. So today certainly does not come as a surprise. Obviously, I can sympathize with folks that are very indignant about it. Baseball is still my favorite sport, but Major League Baseball over the years has really taken a lot of the joy out of the game itself. A lot of us will find other stuff to watch and do. I'm already getting excited. Aussie Rules football is starting this week, so I may have to get the streaming package and watch some of that. So I'll have a little more fun with that on the live stream. But anyway, I'll continue. From the beginning of these negotiations, the players' objective have been consistent: to promote competition, provide fair compensation for young players, and uphold the integrity of our market system. Against the backdrop of growing revenues and record profits, we are seeking nothing more than a fair agreement. What Rob Manfred characterized as a defensive lockout is in fact a culmination of a decades-long attempt by owners to break our player fraternity. As in the past, this effort will fail. We are united and committed to negotiating a fair deal that will improve the sport for fans, players, fans, and everyone who loves our game. Now, as you can imagine, a lot of support, I can just point to this here. Anyway, so like I said, this is not the main context of this video, so I'll move on. But it'll be something that's definitely going to be discussed more in the coming weeks as we go forward, regardless of when they finally settle it or if they lose a ton of games. We'll have to see how that plays out, especially also how it plays out in relation to the card market. Does it become a bargain, buying time? As some of the players who are missing some service time, maybe it's hurting certain types of run-ups that normally you would have if a player got off to a hard start. So people may sour on the sport to the point that they may dump off some of their cards, which may be a buying opportunity depending on what it is. Again, we'll speculate more in a later time. So this is actually the main crux of it. And by the way, like I said, I can't make this up. Jeremy Murray always has the best pictures. And then if any of you watch my live stream, the amount of fun I have with one of the pictures. Again, I didn't choose this picture. This is what they chose to put on the social media. But just the same, Beckett did have an announcement. So they gave a press release today that they're going to have a multi-year growth initiative that are being finalized to optimize the company's business services, including their internal operating and cost structures. That is a very wordy way of saying they're working on things. But there is some pertinent items, so I'll scroll through a little bit further. As part of our strategic growth initiative, we're relocating our corporate headquarters within Dallas, so that's kind of important, tripling our current size with the intent of increasing efficiency, advance innovation, and maximize teamwork. That is still a lot of fluff, but the point is they are moving to a larger place, so that's kind of in line with a lot of other third-party graders and businesses in the hobby that are moving into these bigger spaces, which does allow a certain type of growth as far as getting more staff and personnel. As an iconic hobby brand, our corporate growth initiative is a commitment to proactive visionary leadership in the collectibles industry. Now, to be fair, they are probably the last ones that would be any kind of a brand name in the hobby to think of moving to a bigger space. Now, certainly it takes time to develop that, so I'm not going to give them too much flack for it. But it's like, guys, COMC, PSA announced 130,000 square foot second location. Like, guys, get on it a little bit quicker. But at least Beckett's saying something, so I guess that's something. In addition, it is important here. Note, Beckett Grading Service expects customer backlog to be completed by the end of May 2022. That is this May. Very soon, updates will be issued to customers who have submitted trading cards. This right here is a big takeaway piece. Now, if anyone is kind of asking the question, well, Carlos, why can they be done by May when PSA has had this backlog for so long and et cetera? And why is it going to take them until the fall by their own projections and their recent utterances publicly? Well, in fairness, Beckett did not have nearly as many cards. And for whatever reason, they were horrifically slow. And I would suggest that they haven't had a lot in terms of new submissions. But at least they're getting the cards out. And the good news is, if we don't want to beat up on them too much, and certainly we can beat up on them quite a bit on the live stream, the good news with this is that means that if they're able to clear the backlog and they're back to full service, and I'll read a little bit more in a second, but if they're back to being able to operate at full service, it'll be interesting to see if anybody takes them up on it. Because if they're able to restore a reasonable turnaround time, again, I'm of the belief that it is better to have multiple options in the space. If you don't like PSA and you don't trust BGS, great. Then SGC is there, then CSG is there. It's better to have multiple options. So if they can have their backlog cleared and PSA is able to clear their backlog by the fall and bring back lower price levels, and Beckett is able to bring back lower price levels, and SGC is continuing doing their thing, this is better for the ecosystem. Having more options is a good thing, not a bad thing, as much as I like to make fun of this picture and a lot of things that Beckett does. So this is still important. Beckett Grading will be opening its standard grading service to the public March the 1st, 2022. So effective today, they're saying they're opening their standard grading service. So we'll see. Quantities will be on a limited and run on first come, first serve basis. Customers must use the online submission form to submit under the standard service level. Turnaround times for orders will be 30 to 45 business days. Again, we'll have to see. We'll wait and see on this one, and we'll see if they manage to turn it around. But if they manage to keep 30 to 45 business days at a reasonable rate, I have to see what the current rate is. But if they manage to have that, again, that is a good thing. It is a good thing in the space to have at least one more player. We're healthier when we have 4 main players here competing for your dollars. I really don't count the other ones, and I still refuse to count them. I want an ecosystem where there are 4 legitimate players: CSG, SGC, BGS, and PSA. Because then if your dollar doesn't fit in one, you can certainly put it in another one. There's a place for these various holders in the industry, in my opinion. So above all else, obviously, if you want to chime in about the baseball thing, you certainly can. If you're a little bit more interested in the Beckett thing, which I think there's a little bit more meat on this one, what do you think about Beckett finally breaking their silence and actually having something to say? Actually announcing that they're closing in on the end of their backlog for the grading service. Heaven forbid, they might actually be able to grade some cards now. And stating that they've reopened it on a limited first come, first serve basis, grading again at a 30 to 45 business day turnaround time. Do you trust them given how long they had been silent and quiet? Do you believe that they will be able to restore themselves, maybe not near the top ever again, but do you think they can be viable as a second or third place option? Or if CSG is able to move in? Either way, they're in the top 4, but are they able to make themselves a solid number 3 or a solid number 2? Where do you kind of rank them at this point, assuming they're able to adhere to this, assuming they're able to maintain a 30 to 45 day business turnaround time for a more regular service? Just a little bit room open for some thoughts. More videos upcoming on the channel as always. And then on Friday, live stream we'll have. Talk a little bit more about this and other things. 9 p.m. Eastern time as always. Would appreciate it if you'd like the video if you like it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks very much, and we'll catch you in the next one.